and welcome to the NEC big game in round 12 of the Winfield Cup between Manly Warringah and South Sydney. With today's game coming from Brookvale Oval, where after 11 rounds, that's the way it is, with Manly and South leading the competition, both on 18 points, coming from 8 wins, 2 losses, and they've both had the bye. In the absence of Big Noel Cleal on State of Origin duties, Des Hasler will lead the Eagles today. Their full team rundown is Gurr, Davis, Ronson, Rogers, Blake, Cox, Hasler, Lyons, Cullum, Gibbs, Paulson, Cochrane and Daly. Also missing from the team for Tuesday's match are Dale Shearer and Chris Close. Well, Mario Fennick leads the Rabbitohs, and though today it works in their favour, they are a disappointed club in not having players in the representative side. Their team today is Baker, Ross, Pobji, Moon, Harrington, DeJura, Coleman, Chisholm, Boyle, Gould, Davidson, Fennick and Roberts. And the referee for this Winfield Cup top-of-the-table clash is Michael Stone.
South Sydney running from left to right. The big kick-off by Neil Baker. And Cliff Lyons it is who takes the first tackle in this clash. This is Gibbs being put down. Chisholm up the top. And a penalty goes to Manly. Richie Paulson and Craig Coleman becoming entangled. So we didn't get very far down the lane before a penalty was given. 2 tackles, in fact. This is Daly going ahead. He's had a lot of football in the last fortnight. And another penalty goes to Manly, this time right in front, 35 metres out. Cochrane placing the ball for the attempted penalty. Here on the sidelines is Noel Cleal with Graham Hughes.
Noel, it was this time last year Manly had a great start to the Winfield Cup, but along came the State of Origin, so the crunch is on again in 86.
Yeah, Graham, you know, this will have a big bearing on how we go for the rest of the year. If we can win these 2 or 3 games that are on, you know, with the rip games, you know, Wisconsin's in pretty good stead, you know, for the rest of the year. So hopefully we can get away with it.
Where do you see the key to today's game?
Well, you know, I think our front row fires all right, and the rest of the side they sort of complement one another. So if our front row, which is, you know, I think is a form front row in Sydney, even with Richie Paulson and replacing Billy Hardy, you know, we haven't lost much there. So that's the big key for us today.
Okay, good luck Tuesday night.
Thanks, Graham.
Cochrane left the boot all right, but it's hooking and it's no goal. 0-0 with Cochrane having a chance.
Baker's 22 dropout going straight to Marty Gurr. DeJura coming over the top of Chisholm's tackle. Here's Gibbs.
Oh, Gibbs ran a long way before he found some defence. Baker now, pursued by Cochrane. Tackled inside the 22 line by Cochrane and Davis.
There's Moon playing it. Davidson playing it on the 22.
Gould. Oh, Gibbs came over the top. That has sickened Gould, that tackle on him by Gibbs. Looking at it, without the use of the replay, I thought it might have got him on the point of the shoulder, but Gould immediately grabbed at the side of his head. Touch judge going in. This is, I would think, to do with what I'm talking about. There's the tackle. And Gould, you see his left hand went straight up below his ear where the contact was made. Now, I'm assuming that this report from the touch judge has nothing to do with Phil Gould being on the ground, for if it has, they have the wrong person.
was Peter Cullum in 22. He was spoken to by the referee acting on a touch judge report. Gould is still not 100%. I doubt that he's going to be for quite some time.
If Gould is injured and can't get through this game 100%, Souths are going to have a big problem because he's the key playmaker and organiser of their attack and defence, and he doesn't look well.
They got Gould walking. David Boyle near the halfway, and a penalty goes to Souths. Still Phil Gould getting attention as Souths pick up another penalty. .35 metres out from the Manly line, and Harrington goes ahead. Now, the sin bin has been utilised. And Darren Rogers, the centre, has been sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes. So a penalty goes to Souths, well within kicking distance for Baker, and what a heated start it has been to this top of the table clash, with a couple of swinging arms, a couple of high tackles. Baker, prolific point scorer, he's missed it. It's gone into the in goal for Gibbs. This is Paulson. And Souths now milling in. No score. Both teams have had the chance to bring up 2 points. This is Daly. South trying to force Manly in the in goal, and there's another punch going at the back of the play, and one up the front. And altercations now breaking out in 2 areas. Players flying in from all over the park. Lefts and rights being thrown as this Manly South match erupts. Some very ugly scenes here at Brookvale. Would you like a higher seat, Graham?
Well, it was always going to occur. The first 5 minutes made sure of that. Now, if the touch judges have got the right people here, there could easily be 1 or 2 from either side here go very simply because of the fact it had settled, but then there was 2 or 3 players that just ran in with a couple of king hits. If they've done their job properly here, don't be surprised to see some guys walk, and we won't be seeing a sin bin here. They won't come back.
Daly was trying his damnedest to keep in the field of play. Several South players were trying to force him, and then this was the initial eruption with Chisholm in the middle of it. Then you can see Big Davidson over to the left. He got into his own private war, but there were a couple of others standing about 15 metres from the action. They finished up in the third fight, and don't be surprised if they are the ones to go. So sin bin for Davidson and Lyons and Pobji as well. Now, Pobji was the fellow who came in from a long way away to get involved in the final incident. That was the man I didn't particularly want to name him at that time because there were so many involved. It would have been unfair to single just one out. Now, I'm just checking with some of my helpers here. Was it 10 minutes for all of them, or in fact was 1 sent off? 10 minutes the sin bin for all of them. Add them to Darren Rogers, and now you've got 11 versus 11. So Daly plays it. Cullum goes ahead. Blood coming from a wound on his face. And a penalty goes to Manly. Oh, Cullum's face, have a look at it. It looks like he's been 15 rounds and we've only just had the first round. Chisholm was one of the first involved in the brawling. Take a lot of strength on the part of the referee, Michael Stone, to put this fire out. Now it's Gibbs. And a penalty goes to Manly against Ian Roberts. Eight penalties in 11 minutes. Cochrane now. 40 metres out right in front. His kick, he's hooked it again fractionally, but this time he's got it. There's the first points on the board. First points to Manly, leading Souths 2-0. Hasler. Loose again. Cleaned up by Boyle. Gould. Baker. Harrington. 20 metres from the line. Fenwick making good ground from dummy half. He's only used it twice. And twice he's been able to make at least 5 metres. Gould. De Jura. 5 tackles gone now for the Rabbits. Gould. Coleman. Moon! Moon is over, but has he got the ball down? Yes, it's a try. Scored by the centre, David Moon. After Craig Coleman had held it back, Gould was instrumental in the early stages of the try. And then it was Coleman who just held it back and floated it onto the chest of David Moon. I thought for a moment he might not have got it down. And I must say, initially, it looks that he doesn't. But here he is, the former South Coaster, picking up the first try of this top-of-the-table clash.
When you're playing with 2 sets of 11 players, there are bound to be some holes in the field. Craig Coleman found one, slipped a good pass onto Moon, and he charged over.
So David Moon, at 21 years of age, is in his first year with the Rabbits. 82-85 with Illawarra, and 83 was the reserve grade player of the year at Illawarra. Blood on his mouth. Baker now from a fairly wide angle. He's had the one shot and pushed it away. Recently has signed a 2-year contract to stay with Souths. His kick left the boot beautifully. No goal. So the scoreline in the NEC big game is 4 points to 2 in favour of the Rabbitohs of South Sydney. Rogers back on for Manly. It's Moon to the halfway. Coleman. De Jura. Gould. Boyle. He must have played pretty well last Sunday, David Boyle, holding down his first grade position. Pobji along the 32-metre line. 5 tackles gone. Gould indicates the bomb is coming, then decides to pass it for the field goal attempt by Baker. Looks okay. Oh, is it what? What a beautiful kick. Well, he struck that from 40 metres out.
And it was a tremendous drop goal. Straight over the black dot. And it's 5-2 in favour of Souths.
Yeah, and as we come up for this kick-off by Mitchell Cox, bad news for South Sydney. Their captain, Mario Fanick, ran to the sideline while the players were coming back for the restart. He looks like he's got a lot of problems with the hamstring.
Coming down to Baker. Harrington, the big winger, goes back with it to the 22 line. Davidson, Chisholm, Roberts, Boyle, Baker, penalty to Souths. Manly inside the 5. What's the story on Mario, Graham? You're sitting almost on the sideline where he came to.
Well, the message to the trainer was that he had asked especially to have the South Sydney doctor Nathan Gibbs see him at half-time. It's a recurrence of ankle ligament problems. I would say that if he wants to take any further part in this game, he's headed for maybe a painkiller at half-time.
Coleman, Davidson. Coleman, De Jura. Roberts out very wide, turning it back to Chisholm. De Jura, Coleman. Podgie's put it down. And Manly with the ball, 32 metres out from their own line. South leading by 5-2. Hasler. Cullum. Cox. Kick is going to find touch very close to the South line. In fact, only about 7 metres out. Hasler. About 5 metres out from that line. Daly.
Well, Manly continuing to play this game in tight, and they might come up with a result from it, but I'd still...
Well, they've got to take the kick at goal. Des Hasler didn't hesitate. He indicated to his kicker, take the 2. 9 minutes of the first half to go, and Mal Cochrane will take the kick for the 2 points. It was the tackle on Daly. He was struggling to get up, and as he did, he had the ball stolen from him. Breeze. Maybe strengthening just a little bit, this Breeze. It's been behind Manly in the first half. It wasn't really a talking point earlier on, but it is, I think, coming through a bit stronger now. With Cochrane almost certain to get this 2-pointer. It'll make it 5-4 in favour of South. Just the Baker drop goal, the difference. And Cochrane, oh, it's come off the outside edge and is wide. Well, that can be looked upon as the 2 that got away. 5-2 in favour of the Rabbitohs still. Harrington. Good gain in ground there. Out to Coleman, across to Boyle. Gould. Oh, knock on by Gould. He won't be very happy with the pass he got. It's his second knock on for the match. Fennick's pass was right down low and out in front of him. Lyons. A long pass, and Rogers simply, he deflected it across to his centre partner, Ronson. The referee has ruled the ball was knocked forward. I was about to say Ronson simply only had to pass the ball, and Davis had a lot of space to run in. Even looking at it head on, I'm not so sure that the ball was deflected forward.
Scrum going down about 15 metres into South's area. Won by the Rabbitohs. To the blind side goes Chisholm. Only a matter of seconds to the break. Boyle. And there's the siren. The end of the first 40 minutes. And here's a comment from Graham Hughes at 5 points to 2 Souths.
Well, it's back to basics for Manly Ringer in the second half. I'm pretty sure that Coach Bobby Fulton will be saying in no uncertain terms the only way to put pressure on this South Sydney lineup is very simply to hang on to that ball for the full set of 6 tackles. South Sydney, on the other hand, they turn around with the points on the board. As Ray said, 5-2 they lead. And in the second half, they'll have the aid, or they'll be aided by a very strong breeze. And the key to the game there is, of course, the big kicking game from their fullback, Neil Baker.
Both kickers have been offline today, as Mitchell Cox takes plenty of ground with that kick. Harrington goes back as we have a look at the tackles. 92 for Manly, 67 for Souths. Paulson topping them for Manly, and Roberts for Souths. In fact, possession held tells a very similar story. Manly for 38 tackles, Souths for 59 tackles. The second half will be played with Souths running with the advantage of the breeze at their back. Baker. Cochrane went through on a charge down mission.
Cochrane did a very good job. He put a lot of pressure on Baker, who tried for the clearing kick, and Baker came up with a kick which wouldn't have been spot on and to his liking. Blake was able to field it and bring it back to halfway.
Paulson. Mario Fennick involved in that tackle. Of course, that right ankle has been bandaged. Again at half-time. Hasler through Cox, and it's now with Rogers. Ball coming out, and Souths have it through Bronco de Jura. As the shadows lengthen across Brookvale, and Roberts takes it back to the halfway. They're playing for the right to be on top of the premiership table on their own, these two clubs. Boyle. Chisholm. And the kick is coming for Gould. And he's lined it up and driven it to within 5 metres of the Manly line. Good kick by Gould. And there's the slow motion NEC replay of the kicking action of Phil Gould. He's a very precise kicker. Hasler. Don't forget to look for the NEC footy trivia game in tomorrow's 8-page NEC League lift-out in the Daily Mirror. Some great NEC prizes, plus a trip to the United Kingdom. Cox. He's lost it. Moon sweeps it away to Pobji. Pobji caught from behind by Phil Blake. Dummy half Gould. Now it's Fennick. Coleman. Coleman. Back to Gould. Gould still going. He's within about 5 metres of the line. Dummy half is Big Roberts. Coleman. Long ball to de Jura. 9 metres out from the line are South Sydney. Coleman. This is Harrington. Held by Daly and Cullum and Rogers. Now Coleman's to the left. Gould is not in the line. Here's Baker. Baker chips. And it's a tap from the 22. Have a look at this. Baker, he's only just picked up a penalty for being interfered with. That's a crazy game, rugby league, isn't it? I must admit, I thought Rogers was badly done by when he was penalised for harassing Baker before. But on that occasion, South didn't get the penalty, and there seemed to be an obvious harassment of the follower. Gibbs is having a bit of trouble raking it in. He does that now, and he's still going. Ron Gibbs. The ball thrown out willy-nilly. It's with Cochrane. Let's take a sideline comment from Graham Hughes.
Well, Manly ring in possession, as I said just prior to the break at half-time. They're continually fumbling, poor passes, making a lot of mistakes, turning the ball over to South Sydney, and this, of course, doesn't put any pressure on the Rabbits whatsoever. The man that's really responsible for this, Mitchell Cox, has got to take it upon his shoulders, as well as Daz Hasler, to settle this Manly side down. Only one or two rucks up the middle through the forwards, and then they've got to find a back line. I really haven't seen, we've seen something like 40 minutes, 50 minutes gone in this game already, and not once have we seen a complete Manly backline move.
Graham, the last two passes that Mitchell Cox tried to throw, he rolled them along the ground. He's got to be carrying an injury still.
Well, if it's not an injury, Billy, just got to turn around and start organising this Manly backline, because if there are gaps in this South Sydney defence, they're certainly not up the middle of the ruck.
This is Michael Pobji. 14-9, the handling errors there. Manly guilty of 14, South 9. Coleman, grubber kick through. He's taken a fall, or was in fact he felled. And the referee has made a penalty here to Souths. He's indicated a trip. Big Richie Paulson, the offender on this occasion. Let's have another look at this. Coleman, a kick through. Gibbs might have got a little shoulder into him, and then Paulson is in a bit of pain from where Coleman came in contact with his leg. That one, he's turned his back on it, he's jogging back into position, the flags are in the air. South Sydney leading Manly by 7 points to 2. Gibbs. Penalty against South for 2 markers on that occasion. When I say 2 markers, not standing behind one another, but in fact standing side by side. Try as much as possible to emphasize the reason for penalties for our overseas viewers, particularly those in Canada, who receive a lot of our NEC big games, and others through Europe through the Sky Channel, where the game is in its infancy as far as spectatorship is concerned. Cochrane now with a chance to bring Manly to within 3 points. And he's got it. He got it. He was a little bit offline, but that doesn't really matter. The final analysis is 7-4 and 2 points to Manly. What's the accurate story on Phil Daly's hand, Graham, apropos Wednesday night? I read that he'd been asked to have an injection and play today.
Well, I didn't have it confirmed that it was a broken finger, but I think it's possibly becoming a bit more of a fad. He is luckier that it is a finger, one of his middle fingers, and it can be very easily strapped together. And of course, it's not a problem so much as if it was in fact, say, a thumb.
Bad mistake, this one by Manly. From the kick-off from South Sydney, they've allowed the ball to go dead in goal, which means it's going to result in a line dropout, and South with a chance now to apply a little bit of pressure to Manly.
Cox with the drop kick. 16,500, we're told, the crowd. Played by Ross. Now it's Chisholm. Replacement coming on for South shortly.
Yeah, you mentioned at half-time you expected some of these walking wounded maybe not to come back out. Well, we'll come back.
What about Davidson's run then? Fennick takes it to within about 5 metres of the line. Oh, that was a very big run by Davidson. Coleman, Gould throws the dummy and tries to step. They're 2 metres out from the line. Dummy half is Fennick. Back for Coleman. Now it's to Boyle. Boyle taken into touch. A scrum to restart. Let's go back to Graham.
Yes, Les Biles in 16. Another change for this South Sydney team. Another winger also. It'll be Ross Harrington to come off.
16, Les Biles on. Ross Harrington in 5 coming off. That's Ross. To the 22, that's 5 gone. Spun back for Baker. Baker runs with it. Puts the chip over and regathers. Kicks again, Baker. There's a chance here for Coleman. No try.
Well, Craig Coleman thinks it was. Craig's sure that he got a hand of that one.
I think he did too, but I'm wondering whether he forced the ball with downward pressure. But what brilliant play by Baker. Here's the ball in the in goal. See what Coleman does. No, it came off the boot of the Manly player, Cullum. Good ruling by Stone. So the drop out from Cox. Change for Manly, Graham. There it was again, the replay, sorry.
Yes, Darren Rogers is now off, and in 24 on the field is Larry McMillan.
Well, that was a good piece of rugby league you just saw from Baker. And desperate stuff from Cullum, the second row. Coleman now to the blind side. He's got runners this time. Chisholm was running as a second man. Now it's Biles. South have so often been in good field position, but they just haven't been able to put that icing on the cake. Gould, Davidson, Roberts, they must score. No, he's ruled a forward pass. The South Sydney supporters go back to their seats. See it again, Gould held it back ever so beautifully. And then Davidson's pass to Roberts, a hell of a question mark on it, but the referee ruled that it was forward. Cochrane, nobody putting any pressure on him. It's a long kick, but Baker's underneath it. Osler makes the tackle on Baker on the South 32. Biles. Gibbs and Paulson, they went in to put Les Biles in his very own sandwich. Have a look at it here. He ducks out of the road and bingo. They both come up with 3 sevens. Gould. He's lost it again. 6 more tackles though. The referee ruling that the ball was raked from Gould's grasp by the Manly players. So that in fact is the first tackle. This is the second coming up now. Coleman, Biles. Fennick. Roberts. Away from Coleman out to Moon. There's no question he's been the best centre on the ground, David Moon. 5 tackles gone. Coleman back to Baker. He's gone for the drop goal. He likes it. Referee Michael Stone giving the a drop goal to Neil Baker and to South Sydney. For the Rabbitohs to lead now by 8 points to 4. There's the NEC replay. He didn't get much time, but he certainly had all the accuracy. So 8 points to 4, and that's the second drop goal for Baker from a long way out.
Chisholm, he's had a strong game, this back rower for South Sydney. I don't know what his tackle count is, but his attack has been good. This man has had an outstanding game, and I know he's been around drop balls on about 5 occasions, but he has played very well. Here's Chisholm again. It's his second time with the ball on this set of 6. Podgy, blindside for Baker. Baker away to Ross. And again, 5 tackles have expired for Souths. Gould gets the kick in. He's felled by Gibbs. Richie Paulson with the ball. Davis. So Gibbs comes from the field, obviously, with that shoulder giving him too much trouble now. Paulson. It's still not too late for the Eagles. A breakdown, a time and motion study of this match. If you didn't know the score, you'd probably be inclined to say, well, the team was red and green on. Should have won the match by about 20 with the amount of ball and territory they've had. But incredibly, Manly can still win this football match. Down by 4 points. And that's the turnover. The first in the match, which indicates that not too often has a team been prepared, and you've got to say not too often has South been prepared to run the ball on the last. Davidson has made some strong runs. Now it's Boyle. Oh, that was a very good tackle by Paulson. One of many, many very strong tackles that he's made. Now 24 is McMillan. Manly have used all their replacements. That's David Ronson. Long pass out to Cullum. Now Souths have got to call on their defensive resources. Shaw through Cochrane to Cox. Now it's with Marty Gurr. Shaw again and across to Cox again. Puts in a kick. Nobody wanting to actually go for. Here's Davis going fast. Oh, it's come off the inside edge of his boot and gone over the touchline. Oh, that was a great opportunity for Manly, and Davis knows just how unlucky he was. He tried to kick it ahead off the point of the boot. That's the mistake he made. Instead of probably getting it off the inside edge with a soccer-type kick, he's gone off the point of the boot. Played by Davidson. Podgy out to the 22. Souths know that all they have to do is keep it very, very simple. Gould tackled on the 22. South Secretary Terry Parker. George Piggin sitting next to him. His kick goes down the ground to Marty Gurr. And it's DeJura and Boyle who stop Gurr. Four points the difference, and South looking like they're going to be the premiership leaders as the seconds tick away for Manly to pull it out of the fire. This man is Cullum. Tackler was Podgy. Hasler, Shaw, Mitchell Cox back now to McMillan, over to Hasler. Cochrane with a long run down the ground, but he's given the ball back to a South Sydney player. And again, a player unable to play the ball. David Boyle this time. Ross taken to ground by Cochrane.
And there's the siren. The Souths defeating Manly at Brookvale by 8 points to 4. Just the one try in the match was scored by David Moon, the South Sydney centre. Baker kicked 1 goal and 2 drop goals. And for Manly, Cochrane kicked 2 goals.